Hey everybody, it's Terry here. You've decided that you want to learn how to play guitar? That's awesome. What's the first thing you got to learn? Ah, is how to tune the thing. So right now we're going to learn how to tune. First I'm going to give it a quick tune up and see if you notice the 4 things that you have to know to tune a guitar. Okay, so that's a quick tune-up from a really bad out-of-tune guitar. Your guitar should never be that far out of tune unless you're letting the kids play with it. Now, the first thing you notice is that we start on the bottom strings, the fatter strings first. Always tune the fatter strings from the bottom to the top because the fatter strings have more pressure. If you tune the little thin strings first, you're going to end up having to change them because when you tune the fatter strings, it's going to change the pressure on the neck. It's going to change the ones on the top. So you're going to start with the low E and then move to the A, the D, the G, the B, and the E. That's number 1. The second thing you'll notice is that the knobs are meant to be cranked on. They're designed and built so that you can crank on them. Don't treat them too nicely. You can always just twist and crank, and more so, you'll see that there are certain movements that you do, and we'll get into that in just a minute. In fact, some guys in their playing, if you're playing a country guy in D, we'll go ahead and crank them right in the middle of a song as part of the solo. The third thing that you need to know is that you have to go below the pitch and come up to the pitch. And that has to do with the way that the windings work. The physics of the windings are that they're stable if you let them go down and let the pressure off the coil and then turn them up. They'll stay stable after you tune it. They won't go up and down or slip. Whereas if you come down to the pitch, they can slip. So for instance, if this was too low, we would just come up, turn it until it hits the pitch. Right there. And if your note, when you come to your guitar, if your note is sharp, you don't want to come down to the pitch. You want to go down below the pitch and come back up to the pitch. That way it will stay stable when you tune it. And the fourth thing that you noticed is we go from the fat string, E, A, D, G, B, and E. And when we get to the end, we go back and check one more time. So you always go back and check from the bottom to the top a second time, because most of the time, one of them is going to, the pressure on the neck is going to change and one of them is going to slip out a little bit. So we're going to go back now a second time to the fattest string, the E. And then we're going to check the A, the D, the G, the B, and the E. And after you go through 2 times, it's going to definitely be in tune, and it's going to be beautiful. So there are definite movements that you will get used to doing on the tuning keys themselves. Obviously, if your pitch is really low, you're going to get used to just cranking it straight up a lot. But then you're going to get used to going around over the pitch. You're going to get used to twisting it like this, up and down. Fast. You can twist it fast to get near the pitch, and then you're going to get just below the pitch, and you're going to get used to tuning it at a solid rate till it gets right up to pitch. Now, this is a common problem. It goes a tiny little bit over pitch, and you're going to get used to this movement, which is you move the key a tiny bit down and back up again in order to tighten up that coil. just like that. Nope, now that one's a little low. You're going to get used to tiny little micro movements on the keys. If it's a little low, you're going to get used to tuning it just a hair up, just a tiny little bit. And if it's a little bit high like that, you're going to get used to yanking it and then putting it back in pitch like that. And eventually it'll sit right where you want it. Also, if you hit the string too hard, it's going to give you a false sharp. You need to hit the string with just a medium regular type of a pluck. Now, in this day and age, you're very lucky to be tuning guitars because it's much easier than it was in the olden days. This is called a snark tuner, but all of these clip-on tuners work the same. They're wonderful because they measure the vibration of the guitar, not the volume of the guitar. So in the olden days, we would have the tuner and you would have to blast the guitar into it to try to get a sound out of it. This doesn't have to hear anything. It just has to touch the guitar and feel the vibration, and it'll tell you exactly where the notes are. And it's good to have one of these tuners because as you tune every day, ostensibly you should be tuning every day, every time you start to play, your ear will hear the strings go into perfect pitch every single time. So you'll get used to hearing what the pitch sounds like, and you'll get used to yanking the knobs and moving them in and out right where they're supposed to be. All you do is clip that onto part of the guitar. Most people put it onto the headstock and then go. And now we are in perfect tune and we can make wonderful, beautiful music.